Well, they have to make it truly luxury. This is what killed Joseph A. Bank, if you recall, when Men's Warehouse bought them. They started to discount. They got on that slippery slope, and they admitted that they killed a luxury brand. People are smart shoppers now. You need to really have luxury. You need to really do luxury. And you need to protect it by not discounting.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Hey, recently, big merger in the luxury retail end of the market. Saks and Neiman Marcus. Saks is no longer Saks. It's owned by Hudson Bay Corporation, I guess, out of Canada. The interesting aspects of this merger, the upcoming merger, it's not completed yet. It needs to get a couple of approvals. Is that the other partners, the junior partners involved, number one is Amazon, and number two is Salesforce.com. Our good friend Carl Gould is with us. You find him at carlgould.com. And if you got a question for him or myself, you can shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Carl, welcome back. So it looks like all the turmoil that occurred in the lower end retail segment that's kind of been rationalized by Amazon, it's spreading to the luxury segment, which has been in the past somewhat recession or consumer depression resistant. What does this mean here?
Well, I think this was a pretty smart move by all involved because Walmart occupies the value segment. Target occupies the mid segment of the sector. And now we have somebody who is going after the luxury sector. So this is a pretty smart move to create a powerhouse in that area. Bringing Amazon in tells me that they're going to have a significant e-commerce play. And this is really smart for Amazon to have a network of stores that can now solve the last mile delivery problem for them.
And we should mention that Neiman's went bankrupt in 2020, not really from an operational standpoint, but they were owned by some hedge fund, I believe. And the hedge fund leveraged it to the hilts to basically take their investment out and get their profit up front. And then they kind of left it to the wolves.
Yeah. And look, retail is in a transformative, period right now, and it needs to find what it's going to be going forward. So that was not the time to burden it with a lot of debt and pull cash out, but, with it, what they want,
Yeah. So, the hedge funds only care about one thing, and that's them.
Right.
Look, and that's their job. I'm not belittling it, but when it comes to social consciousness, or social conscience, I should say, they don't have any.
Right. So for sure. Well, this is a smart move for Amazon. It's a smart move for Salesforce. And once Salesforce comes in, that tells me that they're going to look to build an online community. They are going to be looking to really add higher level services to the customer base. And all of this works if they create a renewed and reinvigorated shopping experience. If it's still boring to go into the stores, this is not going to work. But if they create a great shopping experience, this has a lot of legs.
Once upon a time, when I was a working stiff and I used to have to go to an office, I couldn't have the luxury of working out of my own home. I was a Neiman shopper, and I even had my own personal shopper there, Marilyn. I hope she's still doing well in the White Plains store. And, I used to spend, the nickname of Neiman Marcus is needless markup. And, I was spending a fortune, buying 4 or 5 suits and jackets a year and all the other stuff. And then one day I went there on sale and saw all the stuff I had bought, prior was like 40 or 50% off. And then I became a Neiman sale shopper. And then one day I went up to their outlet in Woodbury Commons in New York, and I found that, hey, they don't have the latest and the greatest, but who cares? It's jackets. Mainly I was into jackets then. I wasn't into suits. And I became a Neiman's outlet shopper. And then one day I was looking on eBay, and I said, wait a second, they got all that stuff there, and it's a half of what it is at the outlet. And I became a Neiman's eBay shopper, which I'm sure they loved, right? I mean, and we're both boomers, I guess. I'm a boomer, maybe you're an Xer. The whole concept of the workplace evolution, of hybrid work, home, all these things are making everything different now. And how does it work here?
Well, they have to make it truly luxury. This is what killed Joseph A. Bank, if you recall, when Men's Warehouse bought them. They started to discount. They got on that slippery slope, and they admitted that they killed a luxury brand. People are smart shoppers now. You need to really have luxury. You need to really do luxury, and you need to protect it by not discounting. During the auto crisis of 2009-13, Lexus went out of its way to say, we are not going to discount our automobiles, even if we sell less, because we are going to protect our brand. And Lexus, as a result, bypassed Cadillac, and they became known as the standard. And so if you truly give a luxury product and you protect your pricing and you protect your customers, they will respond, and they'll respond positively. But if you start discounting, everyone's onto that. The internet already handles that part.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that isn't discounted is the tailoring. When I paid full price, the tailoring was included. Then when I started being a sales shopper, that was the end of it. They charge you for the tailoring. And now, my tastes have changed. And I think that is what's happened a lot, is that we're more casual. I remember that I was an attorney. I remember the day I was in a suit and tie every day. Every law office I went to, everyone else was in a suit and tie. Then they started dress down Fridays. And then it was like, if you got caught in a suit or a jacket and tie at your law firm, they knew that you were out there looking for a new job and you were going to pay the price. I mean, it's just the evolution of things. And you go to other countries and they still have the formality. In Asia, you go to Japan, to China, and they're all wearing suits. Now, granted, they can make them custom for 10% of what a fancy suit at Neiman's costs. But everything's changing here, and now you can even get those suits made yourself. Not as cheap as going there, but you can order it online and get your measurements done, and then they send you some reasonable facsimile for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, look, they're going to have significant challenges ahead of them to prove that it's worth going back to their stores, because there's two economies out there, Kerry. There's the standardized economy and there's the customized economy. And the standardized economy is anything that it's going to work, it's going to fit, you don't need a consultation, you don't need to speak to an expert, you can order it and buy it. And that's what the internet is great for. I don't need to go out and shop for toilet paper. I know what I want, I know what works, I buy it. But when I need an experience, or I need consultation, or I need somebody's expertise, that's where they have a chance. And if you look at Apple stores, if you look at even Microsoft stores, and you look at
Do I have to? Do I have
you
to?
might not, but the point is that they're interactive, they're engaging, and you want to go there. Shields Sports store. I'm out here in Colorado. I went into a Shields Sports store. They have a Ferris wheel, bowling alleys, an arcade, and they have a cafe inside of their store. The place was packed with people of all ages experiencing things and buying. And that's where, and Neiman Marcus isn't going to go in that direction, of course, but they do have to make it interactive, and they have to make it an experience for their shoppers.
And the other thing Neiman's used to do, they used to buy me lunch in their restaurant for my birthday. Right. So in the hopes, of course, that I'm going to drop more money still. And hey, I'm not even talking about knockoffs now, but I pride myself on my internet shopping prowess here. And if I really want something badly, hey, I'm going to find it out there somewhere, even if I got to go to halfway around the world, Carl. So it's a global economy. One thing I will say, Neiman's stores are always clean. They're always orderly. It's not like you go into like certain other stores and the stuff's piled up. But look, one of the most profitable chains, Nordstrom's, they've been closing stores. Every major retailer out there, luxury otherwise, maybe the luxury boutiques, they can afford like a Louis Vuitton to maintain a store even if it loses money. Ralph Lauren, they can do that. But the department stores, they got to make money on every square foot, right?
Exactly. And you make money on that square footage in different ways. And so they are going to have to reinvent the experience. Otherwise, this is just a bunch of companies coming together to lose money together.
So branding here. Let's talk about branding. You're a master brander. And, the Neiman's brand, they also own Bergdorf Goodman and Saks brand. Actually, Saks was not as good a brand as Neiman. Never was as profitable in their heydays. But remember the Neiman's catalog, and you used to run to it, and they had his or her flying saucers, his and her helicopters, his and hers Rolls Royces. We don't have paper catalogs for the most part, but they might still send them, but I'm not on their list anymore. But, it was an experience just to get the catalog, even though nobody bought that stuff, right? Nobody bought it.
Sure.
So,
well, look, Harley Davidson makes more profit dollars off of their apparel than their motorcycles. They're a motorcycle company that sold you on the lifestyle. They became a lifestyle brand. Brilliant, yeah. Right? Now, there's a lot of different ways Neiman and Saks and Bergdorf could go, but they have to reconnect with that shopper and turn that into an experience. I suspect there'll be consolidation. I suspect that you're going to see smaller stores and less of them.
Yeah.
But if they are a great place to go, or they're intriguing, or there's specials that you don't get anywhere else, it's going to work.
Hey, talk about experiences. Have you been on an airline lately? I mean, I'm flying off to Vegas today for the Freedom Fest conference. It's kind of a libertarian get-together. I have a lot of friends there, friends in Vegas. So I get an update from JetBlue at 8:27 a.m. Talk about experience here. Your flight is delayed and now is departing at 8:41 instead of 8:10. Then at 10:39, I get another text. Flight is back on schedule, back on time. It's leaving at 8:10. Then I get another one, like just as we're speaking here at 1:16, an update to your flight. It's delayed and now departing at 9:12. Now, should I be happy? I guess I should be happy they're keeping in contact with me. But now
they're trying. Yeah,
they're trying. But now they were back on schedule. So it's like, okay, I got to change my time frame now. But then it's back, and now it's not. Now I don't know whether to trust them or not, and whether like 15 minutes before it's back on time. Come on down. I'm like 50 miles from the airport here. Hey, they are trying, and most of the airlines are doing similar things now. But still, when their service stinks, Carl, their service still stinks.
They still have to look. When you have an oligopoly or a monopoly, when you don't have to have as good a service. The worse the brand, the better the service. The better the brand, sometimes the worse the service. So what we're hoping for is a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, hey, so talking about the airlines, like they have to care to some extent because they're going to get sued, and the regulator is going to be breathing down their throats, right? Breathing down.
No question about it.
On the other hand, they've got power, especially the top three. And the three biggest airlines in the country are in order: Delta, American, United. And a lot of the problems they have are due to the government because the mandatory retirement age is 65. They tried to raise it to 67. They haven't been able to do that. I have friends, accomplished pilots that you would trust your life to, that you have. And they had to get out at 65, although they're allowed to fly charters. And then, the government at the same time increased the minimum flying time that these pilots had to have to be on these planes, which I think is a good thing. But something's got to give here. And in the end, the airlines, they got insatiable demand right now, but that could change on a dime. And
it could, yeah.
What are you supposed to do? I mean, they're really stuck. And all they could do is push.
Take a while for the airlines to catch up. Yeah, it's going to take a while for them to catch up because the demand is off the charts right now.
Totally. Just hey, as I like to say, these are first world problems, but they're also third world problems because the third world is serviced by the first world, and as a result, our problems become their problems, and their problems become our problems. And I guess there's an analogy to it, like in retail. Brands are still valuable, but brands have to put forth value. I mean, yeah, like
they do. And that's how they maintain their value. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to Palm Beach, women are buying, $500,000 dresses, So obviously you don't have to sell too many of them to make your rent. But, with the costs, with inflation and everything else going up, they're forcing these stores and everybody else to consolidate.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to see more of that. So cool.
All right. So
thanks, Kerry.
Consolidation, but hey, AI. They also mentioned in the press release about Neiman's. I meant to address this with you because we have talked about it before. AI, all right, that you're going to have, instead of Marilyn, my personal shopper, you're going to have virtual or AI Marilyn, who will be saying, hey, Kerry, I got this great jacket for you here and it's on sale. Let me send it out to you now, right?
Right. There's going to be, and right now you've heard AI companies have been, someone just cut a deal for Burt Reynolds' voice and another major star's voice, Marilyn, I think Marilyn Monroe as well.
Yeah, right.
And so you'll have Marilyn Monroe as your personal shopper. You'll have Burt Reynolds as your concierge.
If Marilyn Monroe thinks I'm worth her time, then hey, she can shop for me any day of the week, Carl. Right?
Exactly.
Hey, appreciate you coming on, helping us unpack these changes that are happening. They're happening so fast. And really, there's nobody at the wheelhouse managing these changes, which is what capitalism's all about. Hey, Carl, tell us where we find you again, how we connect with you on the web.
Sure, on the web, carlgould.com or Carl360, CARL360.com.
All right, and the link's in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. When you're there, just click through. You get right to Carl's site. And while you're there, please sign up for your free newsletter. Carl, always love talking to you. Always love getting your perspective. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Kerry. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.